Miami Dolphins sit at 5-7 facing the 3-9 New York Jets. The Dolphins are in do or die mode. They can't afford another loss this season. I'm here to break this game down. Once again, it's a must win for the Miami Dolphins. Starting with the Dolphins offense versus Jets defense. Dolphins offense is 24th in points per game. Jets defense is 15th in points allowed. Now, this is the same Jets defense that we've seen in years past, but they've regressed a little bit. Obviously, the past few years, they've been a top 5 defense in most metrics. Obviously, they have had quite the season. Makes being a Dolphins fan look a lot more bearable.
Trash.
Obviously, the high expectations. They fire Robert Saleh very shortly into the season, which I just thought was malpractice organizationally. But hey, you don't interrupt your enemies making a mistake, and it's just gone downhill ever since. So in terms of the rushing game, the Dolphins are 22nd in rushing yards per game. The Jets are 20th in rushing yards allowed. Obviously, that's a bad number for the Jets. They've definitely regressed according to previous years. And this is a game where the Dolphins need to look to reestablish this running game. Obviously, as noted, the Jets are 20th in rushing yards allowed. The Dolphins 2 or 3 weeks ago were top 10, and it's just fallen to the wayside now. Is it because of Alec Ingold being injured and now coming back? Is it Austin Jackson? I don't know if it's correlation or causation, but there's clearly issues in this running game, specifically short yardage, that the Dolphins need to look to reestablish if they want any chance at trying to make the playoffs. And before you guys try and come at me for talking about playoffs, I'm a fan. We want to make the playoffs. I don't care. I'm going to be hopeful that we can potentially win out. So quit being a negative Nancy. I'm tired of y'all. I'll slap all of y'all in the face.
I demo tape to somebody.
My positivity. So if they want to try and make any kind of run to the playoffs, they need to look to reestablish this run game, and this is a great place to start. The Dolphins are the better team. They need to obviously win the game by any means necessary, but if they can also reestablish this running game, that'd be a huge bonus. In terms of the passing attack, the Dolphins are 18th in passing yards per game. The Jets are 2nd in passing yards allowed. So once again, still a very good passing defense. Although it does appear that they're going to be without Sauce Gardner. He's missed the past 2 practices with a hamstring injury, and you don't want an injured hammy going up against Waddle and Tyreek. So I expect them to be cautious with him, especially where their season is. So I expect the Dolphins to be able to kind of operate as normal against this passing attack. The Dolphins in the Mike McDaniel era have had success with Tua at the helm against the Jets. I believe Tua has never lost to the Jets. And once again, this Jets defense has been good the entire time, so they're going to make their plays. They're going to make it tough on the Dolphins, but the Dolphins usually find a way to pretty much operate their offense as usual, and I expect that to continue. So I'm hoping that this passing offense kind of does what they do. Now we have the additions of Jonnu and Achane in the passing game that we didn't necessarily use in previous times against the Jets. So I expect the Dolphins to be able to handle this Jets defense. But once again, the Jets are a weird case study. They're a very talented team. They have players on all 3 levels of the defense, and for whatever reason, they have 3 wins. So it's weird. I'm still petrified. I've been predicting the Jets to win against previous teams, and I'm like, there's just going to be a game where they get everything to click. I'm hoping it's too little too late and it doesn't happen against the Dolphins. It'd be a very Dolphins thing for Hassan Reddick to return to his prime and Quinnen Williams and all of those guys. So hopefully that does not happen. They're a very talented group, but they just have regressed mightily. And I expect the Dolphins to continue to do what they do. So look to establish this run against this bad Jets run defense and then go back to playing clean football, not turning the ball over. And I think the Dolphins will have the Jets defensive number. Players to watch for this Jets defense, obviously Sauce Gardner, but like I mentioned, likely not going to play. Both the Williams, the brothers, Quincy and Quinnen, are both very good players. One on the D-line, one on the linebacker room, both good players. And then Hassan Reddick, we saw him last year when he was on the Eagles, and he absolutely dominated against our run game. I don't know what's going on with him. Obviously, the whole contract thing, I don't know if he's just playing with little effort or if he's regressed or if he's the same dude and he's just not getting the notoriety for it. But I know he's talented. I don't know what's going on with him, though. So that's it for the Dolphins offense versus the Jets defense. Now, in terms of the Jets offense versus the Dolphins defense, with Aaron Rodgers at helm, the first time the Dolphins have seen that. The Jets are 26th in points per game, which is putrid. The Dolphins defense is 14th in points allowed. In terms of the running game, the Jets are doo-doo at 29th in rushing yards per game, and the Dolphins are 9th in running yards allowed. Once again, there's some narrative that the Dolphins can't stop the run. I don't know where that's necessarily coming from, or 9th, as noted, and the Dolphins pretty consistently play with lighter boxes that rely on our defensive linemen to win consistently, and they have been. Now, once again, teams are going to get theirs every now and again, but to be top 10 in run defense, pretty good considering the kind of defense that we play. Breece Hall has been on the injury report, so be interesting to see if he is active. We know he's a very good player. We've seen firsthand. They've also got a good young running back, Braylon Allen, out of Wisconsin, that's been a stud for them as well. So they have good backs, but they've just not been able to get that run game established. Now, in terms of the passing attack, the Jets are 23rd in passing yards per game, and the Dolphins are 9th in passing yards allowed. The Jets, once again, similar to their defense, got a lot of talent and just have yet to put it together. They obviously have Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams, and they're 23rd in passing yards per game. So it's very odd. Hopefully Aaron Rodgers doesn't return to his prime against the Dolphins, and we can continue to keep that top 10 passing defense alive and well. Be interesting to see how they use Jalen Ramsey. Do they want to put him up on Garrett or Devontae? I'm curious to see how they go about that, but this Jets offense has struggled mightily. They just went up against a similar defense that the Seahawks run to us. Mike McDonald and Anthony Weaver obviously come from the same coaching tree, so hopefully Anthony Weaver can see some of what the Seahawks did, and maybe we can get Zach Sealer with a 90-yard pick six. That'd be pretty rad, and hopefully we can kind of just keep Aaron Rodgers worried about the pressure. I forgot which defensive lineman said it, but it's like he's getting older. He's dealt with some injuries. He's scared to get hit now, so he's forcing the ball out quick. So hopefully the Dolphins the past few weeks we played a lot of mobile quarterbacks, so hopefully they can finally feast against a old elder man and just get him to either get the ball out too early or absolutely destroy him in the pocket. But once again, the Dolphins are favored in all numbers in terms of the statistics of defense versus offense, and I expect them to dominate this Jets offense. And if they don't, then it's gonna, I don't know what even to say. The Dolphins have to pick up where they left off. Obviously, the Packers game just didn't go our way, but we're the better opponent than the Jets, and we need to just continue to build off of the momentum prior to the Packers game. So struggle to run and are usually playing from behind. So stop the run, make them a one-dimensional team, force them into obvious passing downs, and let your guys eat. Let Chop Robinson eat and the other guys behind him. Bradley Chubb's probably not going to be back for this game, but I'm so excited when we can finally see Chubb and Chop. Would be a very nice duo, and it might just be this year that we see it. So I'm excited. Hopefully we get them back for some key matchups. Like I said, the Dolphins have to win out, and I think they can. I know I'm an optimist, but there's a legitimate chance. We play the Jets twice. We play the Texans, who have not looked good, and Azeez Al-Shaair is going to be suspended for our game. The 49ers, who have been very injured. And then the Browns, which, honestly, the Browns might be the scariest opponent on our schedule remaining, because Famous Jameis is cooking.
Unwavering faith, ultimate belief, dependent on the Lord. That's all we got.
That's just my playoff talk out there. Players to watch for this Jets offense. Breece Hall, obviously, once again I mentioned he did not practice, so if he's out, it'd be a huge boost for the Dolphins. Garrett Wilson and then Devontae Adams, both very good receivers. Once again, I haven't watched game in, game out of the Jets. It's just bad. I don't know what's going on down there. Very peculiar. I hope they continue to struggle and don't figure it out all of a sudden against the Dolphins, although that would be a very Dolphins thing to happen. But prediction time. I'm 31-16 lifetime predicting Dolphins games on my YouTube channel, 8-4 this year. And my prediction is that the Miami Dolphins beat the New York Jets 34-20 in Miami and move to 6-7, looking to get back to 500 once and for all. Comment your prediction down below. I appreciate you guys for watching. Like and subscribe to help the channel grow. And until next time, fins up.